Hey guys, it's Shy Gemini. How are you today? It's almost the weekend. Yeah. Look, I want to come here and talk about this Rachel Dolezal documentary that's on Netflix. Like, I didn't think I would be interested in it, but when I started watching it, I'm like, wow, like this is actually pretty interesting. If you all don't know who she is, if you've been under a rock, she is the white woman who identifies as a black woman. She was the head of the NAACP chapter in Washington, and she was exposed basically for being a white woman with blackface. So the documentary was very interesting, like very interesting. That's all I can say. They followed her around, basically talked about her life after being exposed, how it affected her children. She has 3 children, by the way. One named Isaiah, one named Franklin. Isaiah is the oldest. Franklin is the middle child, and her newborn Langston. So basically following them around post exposure. It talked about how she was exposed. It was kind of like on national TV, I'm guessing, when they showed, because the journalist asked her, "Are you a black woman? Are you African American?" And she was standing there looking stuck. So, because she had this man that she was posting as her father, and it was a black man, but come to find out it wasn't her father. So yeah, they followed her around. Basically, she's had a hard time finding a job. She applies for jobs weekly with no responses. Mainly, people don't want to touch her. They don't want to touch her because she still wants to identify as a black woman and not admit that she's a white woman. And a lot of black people are pissed about it. Like, a lot of black people. So she's actually had to resort to doing hair. Like, she was doing box braids in her interview. So, and she was doing her own little dreads and twists. And I'm like, oh, she actually got a little skill. So it was just crazy, you know. It didn't appear to me that she was darkening her skin. Honestly, she does look kind of mixed. But I don't know if it's the wigs she was wearing. Well, it has to be the wigs and how she carries herself, because when they showed pictures of her when she grew up, when she was white Rachel, she did look white. And I'm talking lily white. But throughout the interview and stuff, I would have thought she was a mixed woman. They compared her, actually. What's the difference between her being a transracial and a transgender? You know, because I mean, in reality, transgender, they're born a certain way. They're born male or female and feel like they're opposite. They may feel like that was a mistake and they were supposed to be the total opposite of what they were. So if she feels that way, what makes her different, you know, from a transgender? So they talked about that. They spoke to 2 NAACP members that I guess worked with her, and they talked about how, like, she would always try to one-up them on struggle. Like, she would come up with these stories and try to, you know, speak about her struggles, and they would look at her like, is this really credible? Is she telling the truth? They always had doubts, basically, and her father figure also had doubts, but he said he felt like he knew her heart, so he didn't question it because he knew her heart. It is what it was. It was what it was. He was honored to actually be a father figure to her. I think I'm confused on what actually it was that outed her. Was it her reaching out, saying that she was receiving threats? As her being the NAACP chairman or head person or whatever for that chapter, she basically reached out. I don't know if it was to the media or what, saying that she was receiving threats, that she received letters But when they investigated into it, they said the letters weren't traced through any other postal service. Like, it was just traced right to their P.O. box, I'm guessing. So they didn't know if she was doing that to kind of like make her struggle look more real. I don't know. But people were suspicious of that, because one lady said, we've had women in power in leadership that were way darker than her, that looked a little more authentic than her, that didn't have as many threats as she claimed she had. So they didn't really know if she was telling the truth. But there's also the incident with her family. Her brother had been accused of sexually abusing her adoptive sister, which is a black girl. And once they started to dig into that investigation and try to expose him and put him behind bars, either the family hired or the brother hired a private investigator to follow Rachel to basically discredit her, because she was going to be a witness. Because not only did she, I guess, know about the sister being abused, but she was claiming that she was abused also. So to discredit her, they started this investigation and basically outed her. Here's this woman, she's white, pretending like she's black. So, you know, that kind of, I'm sure, affected the case. And later on in the documentary, the sister actually said that the case was dropped because of all of the media circus that was going on with her sister. So I felt like, man, they showed her real parents going on like this media tour to basically discredit her. So that is a whole nother story. Like, her family, from what they described, her and her adoptive brothers and sisters are crazy. Actually, Isaiah was her brother at first. Her son, her oldest son, was her adoptive brother. She had to adopt him because the situation with her parents was so bad. She had to get him out of there. And the sister, the adoptive black sister, described the situation as, you know, bad as well. They would beat them so bad that she still has the scars that she received as a child from getting whoopings from them. They used glue sticks or something, and bamboo to discipline them. And she had scars still all over her legs from being whooped as a kid. So I think the main issue though is the black community is pissed, and they're never going to accept her because she won't just come out and say, look, I'm white. The black community, from what I've heard and from what I've seen on the documentary, just want her to admit, I am a white woman. But I believe in the cause. I want to fight with you all. I feel like that the injustice of the world is wrong, and me being a white woman, I know that there's a such thing as privilege, and that a lot of my white counterparts benefit from white privilege. So I want to help take down the establishment. I really believe that's a lot of black people's problems, because they feel like we can't go and say we're white. We can't say we're transracial and we're white and we're gonna practice our white privilege. Like, we can't do that. So a lot may feel like she shouldn't be able to do that either. We have a white minister here in Chicago by the name of Father Pfleger. Some of you all that are not from Chicago may have actually heard of him, but he is definitely one of those people that are fighters for the cause. Like, he fights for blacks. He march. He has a community center, you know, for kids to go. He has like gang summits so that rivalry gangs can come together and kind of, you know, hash out their differences in peace. And he also marches when police shoot unarmed black men or unarmed black women or whatever. So, but he doesn't say I'm a black man. He says that he's a white man who's down for the cause. So I think if Rachel did that, maybe it can help her. Maybe she'll be able to create some kind of income and work again and be out in the world. Now, honestly speaking, I feel like that shouldn't stop her wanting to be black. Should not stop her from being able to provide for her family and have an income. But I do feel like she's going about it wrong. Her son, her middle son actually, you know, he was like, you know, I just want her to just let this stuff die down and let's try to get our lives back to normal, because I'm tired of this. I'm drained. And I kind of feel, you know, what he was saying, because she's saying that she wants all this stuff to go away and the backlash to stop, but she keeps posting on social media. And not only does she post on social media, she posts her kids. So I'm like, what is it? Like, see, that's where, again, why people take issue, and they're like, are you doing this for attention? Or do you really want to be a black person? Do you really wish you were a black person? Because you keep going on social media and posting things knowing that people are still going to have hateful things to say in the comment. Like, I thought it was totally messed up that she posted about her oldest son going to visit Howard University because he wants to go to Howard University for law school. And she posted about it. And of course, the hateful tweets and stuff started. And I'm like, why would you do that when you know that that was going to happen? I felt like that was selfish for you to put that out there knowing how it affects your son. You know what I'm saying? So you got to pick, Rachel, like, which one is it? You know, I definitely feel like you should be able to live in your truth if it's authentic. But, you know, I don't know. Like I said, y'all, it was eye-opening, and I did learn more about her, and I felt like through watching this documentary, like, there's definitely some issues there. Definitely. So she wrote a book. The book didn't do well. It only sold like 500 copies to be exact. And she went all on this media tour and all that, and it didn't even sell. So what are you gonna do to start drumming up revenue for your family? Like, what are you gonna do? So there was so much more. Like, I think I got the most of it, but like, I honestly don't. I'm curious to see what's gonna happen a year from now, 2 years from now. Like, what she's gonna do to maintain herself. Like, will this die down? Will she be able to have a career again? Because, I mean, they said she was doing a lot. Like, she was really out there supporting the cause, and she was one of those people that was on the board for like police review. So I guess when police did stuff, she was on the board to basically investigate them and, you know, fight for people who have been wronged by the police. So I don't know if she's making a ton of money, so maybe she really is the real deal. But that was it, y'all. I feel like I'm rambling now. But yeah, it was a good documentary. So I encourage you all to actually go look at it and judge for yourself on what you think. Do you think she's an opportunist? Is she a culture vulture, as they used in the documentary, or like appropriating black culture? You guys be the judge. You let me know how you feel about that. But it was a good documentary, so go watch it. All right, y'all. I'll talk to you later. All right. Peace.